Well, hello. Hope you're enjoying your guitar journey and you're rocking on like the true rock stars that you are. Right now in your guitar journey, you've reached a pretty critical part. You've come to the part where you are playing bar chords, and now you're trying to switch between open chords and bar chords, and bar chords and open chords. And you've probably come to the conclusion that it's not easy, and it's not. However, with the right practice and practicing the right things, you can do it. Remember how hard it was the first time you ever tried to change from a D to a G chord, right? Where you almost had to get your other hand and lift your fingers off and put them back in order to do it, right? And now you're playing D to G and all your open chord changes probably like butter. Bar chords will get that easy too. It just takes time. You're using more of your fingers, it takes more strength, and it's more advanced, right? But you can do it. So what I want to talk to you a little bit now is I want to give you some basic bar chord changes back and forth and explain the proper way that you should be going about changing them. Remember, we get lots of emails at Next Level Guitar, and a very high percentage of them questions is about bar chords because everyone seems to struggle with them. No one just picked up a guitar and played an F chord or an F to C change, right? And a lot of them, I find out that the reasons people are having trouble is because their technique is not pure. And that is why we spend a lot of time in the earlier lessons talking about things like keeping your fingers glued to the strings, about having your pinky hitch a ride, keeping it tucked tight against that third finger. Okay, and then we're going to zoom in the camera in a minute and we're going to show you some of these changes up close, and you're going to see exactly why we did that. And that's because with that pinky tucked in tight on chords like A minor and C and D minor, it makes going to bar chords so easy because that pinky just falls right where it has to. You don't even have to think about it. It's just automatic. Okay, if your technique was not pure and your pinky was flailing out, okay, way out here, and you're trying to get to a bar chord and your pinky's got to come off, man, you're going to miss that change. Or if your hand is coming apart. See, we've been building this solid foundation of good technique and good fundamentals with you, and now it pays off. The next level and the next level and the next level. Guitar is that staircase, like I keep talking about. You master step 1 and you traverse step 2 and you get step 2 down and step 3, and you're building and you're building on one another. Remember those cluster changes? That's helping you now, because with bar chord changes, you're not going to take your hand apart. It's just going to stay in this same cluster with your fingers tight up against the string. Just imagine your hand is just magnetically attracted to the strings. You don't want to get that credit card between your strings and your fingers, okay, as you do these changes. And as you go down in lessons, I'm going to also recommend some songs that have bar chord changes in them, and I'll start off with some easy ones like I have just 1 or 2 bar chords and to open chords, and that's going to give you good practice for your rhythm, your timing, and your bar chord changing. And just remember, like when you practice all your open position changes, E minor to C, C to D, D to G, and you knock them out, and then they're in your pocket forever, that's what we're going to work on now, going from an E minor to an F, or an E minor to an F sharp, or from a F bar chord to a C. Once you knock those out, those are in your pocket forever, and you'll see those changes over and over and over again in songs, and you'll be able to do it. Same thing like you experienced with your open chord changes. It's just takes a little bit more practice with the bar chords. But you can do it, because there hasn't been a student yet that we haven't been able to get to play bar chords. And like I talked about when I was first teaching you bar chords, it's not about strength. I've had kids play bar chords, children. It's not about strength, it's about technique, and you could use that leverage we talked about, and keeping that wrist down and that thumb anchored in the back of the neck, and just getting those all 6 or 5 notes, whatever chord you're playing, whatever shape, to ring out nice and clean, okay? All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a series of opens to bar chord changes, and then even some bar chord to bar chord changes, and I want you to practice these, and I want you to write these down in your practice logs, okay? And you go back and forth. Remember how you used to work a D to G change? You would just go D, 1 hit, G, get everything to ring clean, G, and then you went with a quarter note, right? One note per beat. 1, 2, 3. A slow quarter note. G, 2, 3. These are open chords. And then you went to like a eighth note strum pattern, like strum 1, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Change to G. Up, down, 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 up. Right? You're going to use that same format when we do our bar chord changes, our open to bar chord changes. For instance, if we go from an E open to an F sharp bar chord, you're on that F sharp note, that root note, 2nd fret, low E string, and you're playing that 6th string root or low E string root, F sharp major. So you're going to first just E, F sharp, and I'm going to give you a tight shot of this in a second, and then you're going to go on to quarter notes. 2, 3, 4, F sharp, 1, 2, 3. And at first you're going to go through the same struggles where you're going to be playing that E, 1, 2, 3, 4, F sharp, 1, 2. And it's going to take you a little bit to get there, but you'll get faster and faster at it. And it's going to take you a little bit to hit it, to get all 6 notes to ring out. But again, your playing is an evolution, and this is what everyone has gone through to tackle bar chords. And this is the fastest and most efficient manner that we're going to get you playing these, okay? These techniques we're teaching you, is many of these things is left out of a lot of other instructionals. We try to have as most comprehensive a package as possible, because this is the most efficient way to get you going. As long as you're practicing, you know, we don't want people practicing the wrong things. Like we always say, practice the right things, okay? So use that same format where you first do the change, just one hit each to get that mechanics down. And a lot of this too is muscle memory, okay? Because after a while, see, I can go back and forth all day while I'm talking to you between an E and F sharp, and I'm not even thinking about it. It's just automatic. It's just automatic. My fingers just know exactly where to fall, and that's what will happen to you too, okay? Muscle memory. Start with it one hit each. Then try it with a slow quarter note in time. Try to play it in time. Then go to your eighth note strum. Maybe at first 2 measures per chord. Spend a little bit more time on each chord. It'll make it easier. Then 1 measure per chord. And you'll master it. You'll have it in your pocket, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to zoom in on a tight shot on my fret hand, and I want to show you these techniques up close so you can see the proper way, and then we're going to give you a whole list of these changes to try, okay? Here we go. Okay, here we are with a tight shot on the neck, and the first change, grab an open E major chord, and then you're going to try to change to an F sharp major bar chord. See that F sharp on that 2nd fret? Okay? So you're going from that. Now notice my pinky is hitching a ride like we always keep it on that 3rd finger. And notice if I do this in slow motion, you see how it just falls right into place. I don't even have to think about that pinky. Look at that, because it's attached to that 3rd finger. And it falls right where it needs to be. That's a beautiful thing, and you want to do that. Keep that pinky on all those open position chords that we talked about, like A minor, see the pinky? D, right? C, all right? D minor, okay? That pinky position doesn't stay, not out here, not, you know, in tight. That's the way you should have been practicing it. It should be automatic for you. So just go E, major, F sharp, and that's a nice. Now notice again as I go in slow motion, see my fingers? They're at, you can't get a slice of paper almost in between there and the strings. See how they slide? I'm not going E, taking my hand apart either. I'm using that cluster principle, leaving my hand clustered together as I go to that F sharp. And as I notice already, as I get, watch as I go down the neck, it's like I'm getting in that bar chord position before I even hit this 2nd fret. You see that? How I'm already, I'm not waiting till I get all the way over here and then getting in position. I'm starting to position my fingers as I'm moving them across the frets. And just take it with a slow quarter note. One, two, three, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. Notice the thumb. Okay, notice my thumb. I do not leave my thumb and try to leave it back here as I go to that F sharp. The thumb moves with the hand, right? Like we talked about. See that? Moves with the hand. So I'm on that E, I'll just bring it up more so you could see it. E, notice how it moves with my hand when I go to the F sharp, okay? Very important. Okay. Another one to try is F major to C open. Okay? And again, notice that pinky hitching that ride, okay? So F, C. Back and forth. That's a little trickier, but you could do it. 2, 3, 4, C. 2, 3, F. 1, 2, 3, 4, C. 2, 3. Notice on the C how my thumb mutes that low E string, like it does for all A, B, C, and D type open chords, okay? Does this stuff sound familiar? It's all built on each other, okay? F to C. Another real common open chord to bar chord change is G, open to B minor. Now, if you notice something when I do this, I'm playing a G major chord, 4-finger G. Notice my first finger is on a B note already. It's in that chord, okay? So I don't take that off. That's a shared finger. I just kind of drop my first finger down to bar position. I'll do it slow motion. There's my G chord, but notice where that first finger is. So when I go to B minor, I just basically just kind of straighten it out and bar. So watch the first finger. G, now here goes B minor. See how I just drop that finger down? Don't take it off or out or anything like that. It's not necessary. G, drop, B minor, back to G, B minor. Eighth note strum, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up. That's a very common change. You're going to see that in a ton of songs, okay? F sharp minor, remember minor chord is like the major on the 6th string, but you lift up that second finger, flattening the 3rd, making it minor. F sharp minor to D, okay? Very kind of cluster-esque change. Oh, I'm going to just remove my second finger so you can see that chord a little better. F sharp minor to that D chord. Notice again with all these bar chords, you want to get every note. Now this is a 6-string chord. Listen to all 6 strings. You want to get the chord to ring clean. You don't want to hear this. Okay, those dead strings, you want to get those to ring clean. Try F sharp major to A. Okay, there's that A. We're jamming all 3 fingers in that 2nd fret to that F sharp. To an A chord. Notice on the A chord, my low E string is muted by the thumb. Okay, a common change you'll see a lot is A minor to F. Okay, so that one, a little tricky, but you could do it again. Back and forth. Just go back and forth between those two. Get that first finger down, barred, flat, across all 6 strings, right behind the fret. Remember when you're barring these, don't be having your bar finger in the middle or toward the back, right behind the fret. Okay? A minor. F. A minor. F. You can even do D to F. D. F. This is just the exercises. Right? And then here's a couple of bar chord to bar chord changes. First, try this one. Play your B minor chord, 5th string root. And like all 5th string roots, for the most part, you're going to let this first finger spill over to mute out the low E string. Play a B minor chord, and then move everything up 1 string, and that becomes an F sharp major, right? B minor, fifth string root, move everything up. But I'm just sliding on the strings. B minor, F sharp, B minor, F sharp, back and forth. Okay? Alright. Here's one that's going to be a little harder for you. Try going from a C open to a C minor. Third fret, A string root, C minor chord from a C, C minor. Now you got to drag across 2 frets. So notice how I'm getting in that position before I even get past the next fret. I'm already in that minor bar chord shape, right? C, C minor. Okay, so there's a bunch of open chord changes to bar chord changes, bar chord to opens, bars to bars, and I want you to practice those. Write them down in your practice log, and don't worry, they're not going to come overnight. Don't worry if you can't get them right away. It's going to take some time. This is going to be an evolution. Some of the easier ones you'll get quicker, and then really be diligent about hitting those, and the ones you're really struggling with, put them in your log, practice them every day. Just go back and forth practicing the mechanics of that change. Go to the lesson soon after this one where I start talking about practice song suggestions using some bar chord to open chord changes. Okay, you'll like that. And you can do it. Stay positive, and we'll see you in the next lesson. Rock on!